Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is the Warehouse Series. So today I want to go over the top 10 things that new selectors do wrong. Before we get to that, guys, if you want to do all this over here, I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel. Guys, give me a thumbs up, comment on my videos. I will respond to everyone's comments on my videos on YouTube. If you guys want to join the Discord community, that link is in the description below. Come on over. And guys, if you're a warehouse selector and you're new, you're in the right place, and you're going to get even tons more help over on Discord. All right, guys, like I said, we're going to go over the top 10 things new selectors do wrong. These are in order from my top 10 to my number one thing. And if you guys have any other ones that you want to add to the list, leave it in the comment section below. So let's get to number 10. All right, guys, number 10 seems a little funny, but no idea what selecting is. I cannot tell you how many people I've trained and how many people come in and they're like, I didn't think I was going to be doing this, and they walk out the door the first day. Guys, put some research into any job you're doing, especially a warehouse job that you have, it's not a popular job. It's not like, McDonald's or something like that. You're going to be cooking or whatever, when you apply for the job. So when you apply for a job as a warehouse selector, go to YouTube, go somewhere, ask questions and see exactly what it entails to see if it's something you're even going to like before you even get into warehouse. All right, guys, number 9, you don't take the job serious. I mean, this is, it seems like a very common thing nowadays. When people come in, they think it's a joke. They just come in and do whatever. Guys, I say this all the time. This job could easily support your family. It could easily support your future if you don't have a family yet and you're still younger. It could easily support your future. Take the job serious. I tell you guys all the time, make as much money as you possibly can and then move on if you choose to do so. But guys, the new selectors, it's a job, guys. Take the job serious and learn the job, and you're going to be a lot better off. All right, guys, number 8, they don't listen to their trainers. I can't tell you countless times that I train people and I'm talking. Now, I talk a lot, and I even tell my trainee, I don't expect you to comprehend everything I am talking about and soak in everything, but at least take in a little bit. So whenever it's that, I have that person for a week at our work, I train them for a week, and that first day on their own, they act like they never even got trained. I really think that people just, they're so eager to just start throwing on their own that they don't care what the trainer's saying. Guys, there are some good trainers out there, and there's some awful trainers out there. If you have a good trainer, someone's probably going to tell you in the warehouse, hey, you're lucky. You got the best trainer in the warehouse. You got a good trainer. Listen to what he has to say. People do not listen to their trainers. Guys, when I train and I'm talking all week, I'm not talking just because I like talking. I'm talking because I'm spitting out some good information that is going to help you. So guys, listen to your trainers. All right, guys, number 7 is what I see a lot is don't wrap when needed. Your wrap is your best friend, especially when you are a new selector and you're learning to build the pallets. You're not wrapping and you're picking your stuff up off the ground. Even if your pallet looks okay and you got a little bit of a shaky corner, take the time just to separate your pallets and put some wrap on there. It would be a lot easier to take 3-4 minutes to separate your pallets and wrap it than to pick it up off the ground and restack it and mess with it. It's going to take you 10 minutes to do that. So take the time to wrap your pallet when needed. All right, guys, so the top 6 that I have are going to be a little bit more far-fetched than this, stuff that I think is really important. Number 6 is you're not mindful to your surroundings. You're selecting in the middle of the aisle. You're just focused on numbers on the rack. I notice that with a lot of newer selectors, they're so focused on the number sequence that they're just staring at that and they ride right into somebody else. Or, they're coming around a bend, they're looking up at the, what aisle they're going into next to make sure they're in the right location. And they're driving their jack while they're doing it onto a dock that is hectic, with a lot of congestion. So not being mindful to your surroundings is definitely number 6. And it's something that newer selectors really need to pay attention to. You are not the only one in that warehouse selecting. The last thing you want to do as a new selector is start ticking off your coworkers. All right, guys, number 5. This is a big one. Picking up bad habits. So what it is, you come in as a new selector, you're off of your training week, and now you're, just selecting in the warehouse. This is when you start meeting other people, you start gossiping, and then you just start getting in the bad habits, going to break early, coming back late, slamming cases down, throwing cases on their sides upside down, doing things that your trainer told you not to do. And now you're going to start listening to other selectors in the warehouse, and you're going to start picking up their bad habits. Just driving forks first down and out backwards. You see other people do it, so you're like, I should be able to do this as well. Guys, this goes all the way back to not listening to your trainers. I even tell people you're going to pick up bad habits and you need to not do so. Don't watch other selectors. You start to learn over the weeks who's the good selectors and who's not the good selectors. So I'm just telling you, don't pick up bad habits. It's very easy to do in the warehouse. All right, number 4, this is a humongous one. You never ask for help. During your training weeks, you never ask questions. I tell all my trainees all the time, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And I'll be lucky if I get 1 or 2 questions throughout the whole entire course of the week. You guys do not ask questions, and you don't ask questions after your training week. Once again, I just said that you're going to start learning who the good selectors are and who the good people are that actually want to help. Ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It's just going to make you become a better selector quicker. All right, guys, I just had a comment on one of my videos, and this is what brought this one up, is whenever a pallet falls over, don't think that equals to failure. They said that it's not going to, they felt embarrassed, but it's not going to let them get discouraged to quit the job. Guys, I want to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told them on my comment section of that video. We all do this. All right, we all drop pallets. After I'm a little irritated. It was probably about 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. I dropped a pallet, just a corner of my pallet. It happens, guys. I was separating my pallet in the wrap machine, and one pallet was real light, and it got stuck on my fork. So when I moved, the whole back of it fell. It happens. All right, so suck it up. You're a new selector. We have all done it. We've all dropped multiple pallets during our training weeks and after our training weeks. So the best thing you could do is just learn from your mistakes. All right. Everyone does it. You might get, guys, I always said warehousing is like the 13th grade. People act like so childish in there, and I'm guilty of it too. I started when I was 19 years old, and we were like, it's the 13th grade. You're making fun of people because they dropped their pallets and that. Just, guys, it's like any freaking job where you're working with a ton of people. You're going to get a bunch of idiots in there too. So just keep pushing forward. They drop their stuff too, and you're going to get your chance to smirk back at them eventually. So yeah, just make sure that you're not getting too frustrated with pallets falling over. All right, guys, so let's get to my top 2. And I'm sure if you guys have been following me for any length of time, you're going to know what number 1 is. All right, guys, this is one of the biggest things I think you guys do wrong, and that is think of the standards and incentives during the probation weeks. Your probation weeks are your time to start to learn how to build the pallets and, get into the routine of the whole entire job. All right. Like, getting used to the bells, the bell system, to go to break, come back from break, if you have a headset, getting used to that headset. You are supposed to utilize your probation weeks to learning the warehouse atmosphere. All right, getting comfortable with your surroundings, getting comfortable with the equipment, getting comfortable with the whole entire way the warehousing industry works. You should not be thinking of incentives, and you should not be thinking of your standard during those weeks. Now, at our warehouse, you are allowed to make incentives during the first 8 weeks of probation, which I think is bull crap. I think you should not be allowed to make incentives. You should be focusing on how to build. But then every now and then you get this person that was maybe in a warehouse before, and they come in and they know what they're doing. So it's a double-edged sword there. I truly believe that new employees should not even be allowed to make incentives in their probation weeks. In the standard time at our work, you're allowed to progress gradually, and it's so easy, guys. They start you off all the way at like a 52%, and then you have to increase your standard by like 6% every week. It's very manageable to do, very easy to do. But even if I miss one of my weeks, my 6%, the company's not coming to get rid of me. They're just going to come and maybe evaluate me again and see if I need help somewhere along the way. But I think this is the biggest thing. People do not take the time to just learn the warehousing. There's right day one. day one off of your training week, you guys are right trying to make your times, and that's the biggest mistake that you guys make. All right, guys, so if you follow me for any length of time, that number one is you never learn a system. And if you don't know what that is and what I'm talking about, just keep watching my videos. And guys, what it is it's you going to every area of the warehouse, and you know exactly the way that pallet's going to look before you even start throwing it, because you're putting the cases in the same spot every single time. I say this all the time, that every order usually has about 90% of the same like cases on it. So why would you switch things up every single order? You should be throwing things the same way. So when I find something that works, I stick with it. All right, I know exactly if I get a certain case, I'm putting it in the same spot every single time. You guys hear me say I like putting my lighter boxes towards the front of my pallet. I like putting my salad dressings towards the front of my pallet. There's certain cases that immediately go towards the front of my pallet when I'm selecting. There's cases that immediately move to the back of my pallet when I'm selecting. That is learning a system. And what a better time to do that in your 8 weeks where your standards technically don't count. Why are you going to wait until your standards count to start learning a system? Because what happens is people come in, they just throw to throw. They don't learn how to build the pallet and learn a system. And then whenever it's time to their times to actually count after the probation weeks, they're screwed. They're sweating it because they don't know how to build a pallet and they're not making their times. I promise you guys, if you follow these 10 steps or 10 things that I think new selectors do wrong, you are going to be a better selector when you come into the warehouse. All right, guys, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys watching this all the way through. Let me know in the comment section if you have any other ones you want to add on, if you guys have been at the warehouse for any length of time, or even a new selector. There's maybe a couple things that you're learning that maybe I didn't have on my list. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.